To this tragic story developing in the last few hours, let me take you back to Verulam in Durban, where a family tragedy has taken place. We understand a mother tried to kill all 4 of her children before taking her own life. Let's go live now to ENCA's Dasan Tathia, who is on standby, I'm told, with the police's spokesperson. So, this incident happening not so long ago, Dasan, and that remains an active crime scene, as we can see from some of the crime scene tape behind you. What are police able to piece together this afternoon?
That's right, they're doing just that, Tulas, and I'll take you closer to the house as far as we can go along this cordon that's been put up by the police. You'll see some of the forensics team that is busy down there now. This is the house where that family was found, the mother and her 2 children hanged there, and we had the opportunity to speak to some of the neighbors. Unfortunately, they didn't want to speak to us on camera, but they related a story of how they'd heard the 2 older children screaming because they couldn't get into the house when they'd returned from the shop. They were trying to get in through one of the windows, and the neighbors were alerted to that screaming. They then came over to assist them because they realized that something was wrong, and it was at that point that neighbors had then gotten into the house. They broke into the house and they discovered that the mother and those other kids had already passed on by that point. But to shed more light on this, I have Brigadier Jay Naika of the SAPS with me. Jay, thank you for joining me. I know that the investigation is still ongoing, but I think the biggest question at this point is, why has this happened?
Well, that's what we're here to find out. We were alerted of this incident around 12 o'clock by neighbors who discovered the body of the mother and the 2 boys inside the house. From what we could gather, is the mother had sent the 2 elder children, and she had given them something to eat, and she had sent them to the shop, which is close to the house, to buy something. And when the children came, they discovered the bodies. They screamed for help, and neighbors came to assist them and cut the bodies down from the rafter. The 2 elder children were also treated by paramedics. As indicated, the mother had given them something to eat, which we are still going to investigate what it was, but they did complain of feeling unwell, and they were treated as a precaution by paramedics and taken to hospital.
Jay, people around here, the neighbors and some of the first responders as well, are alleging that the mother hanged the 2 young children, hanged herself, and prior to all of that may have poisoned the other 2 children or attempted to poison them. What do we know about that?
Well, look, as you can see, the forensics experts are still on the scene, the crime scene. All the crime scene experts are still on the scene. For now, we're looking at investigating a murder as well as an inquest. More charges might be added later on as the investigation unfolds.
Is there any sign of any other party, an external party, that may be involved in what's happened here?
No, as I said, at this stage, it would seem like it's possibly a murder and an inquest, but that's subject to our investigation.
Thank you very much, Brigadier Jay Naika. So, to us, neighbors are still gathered on the other side of the house. Earlier, we also saw some family members arriving. That was when those 2 other children were still being treated in an ambulance. They've since been taken away. They now are in hospital, and they have been accompanied by a guardian as well. And as we understand it, they are in a stable condition, but obviously they will be treated further and assessed further at hospital as well.
All right, Dasan Tathia, with an update on that story. That's truly heavy on the soul. It really is gut-wrenching, that particular situation that has happened out in Verulam. He continues to track that particular story.